Hello, everyone. Welcome to Confidence Leads to Success with me, Elif Köse. We seem to be, as women, always find a reason, one or another, to not feel confident enough to do things that we want to do in our life. Let it be our weight, let it be our accent. That was me in the year, like back in the years. And let it be our hair. And today I'm bringing you this amazing woman who has really niched down and noticed there is this problem that women seem to think there is a problem with their hair, and this woman is helping you to master your curly hair. Delilah Orpi is a curly hair coach. She helps women to find the right products and right help them, give them beauty tips to create the confidence that they need in their day-to-day life. And I am so honored to have her here. She is a woman that has been in so many magazines like Whole Magazine, Glamour, and Yahoo. And what she's trying to do is to really create awareness about the eco beauty movement and proper curly hair care. Welcome, Delilah. It's really good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to share my tips with some new people.
It is so good that you have actually noticed. I mean, you have curly hair. Is that where it all started?
Yes, definitely. I struggled with my hair texture all my life. I come from a Cuban American family, and even though everybody has textured hair in my family, I grew up with the idea that straight hair was ideal, the smooth and sleek. And so I didn't even really know it was curly. It was kind of just like puffy and wavy, which a lot of people don't realize is actually curly hair hiding. So I mistreated it for so many years. And in my 20s, I kind of just got fed up and I was just tired of always feeling like I didn't like the way my hair looked and just thinking about it all the time and stressing about it. And I came across what has kind of blown up recently, something called the curly girl method. And it's like a special way of caring for your hair. So I didn't come up with this. This is something that somebody else came up with. And that kind of led me down the path of even realizing that my hair was curly and figuring out how to care for my hair in a much more simplified way so that I could kind of just get up and go and I wasn't stressing about it and worrying about the weather and when's my next wash day and all that stuff.
It must make a massive difference having good hair. I mean, for me, I've got short hair and actually got wavy hair. And if I don't blow dry, it kind of goes into this weird shape. And if
Mm-hmm.
I don't have good hair that day, I feel awkward. I don't feel confident. I don't
Yes.
really even want to come out to do any kind of interviews, just like what we're doing right now. So I really get what you're doing. And it's so good that you have noticed these to help women to embrace their naturally curly hair.
Yeah. There
So
are so
good.
many. I mean, I've had millions of people come to my website and I get tons of emails and messages and stuff every day. There's so many people that are dealing with this. And I'm so glad that lately, I think since the pandemic, a lot of people were kind of like embracing their natural, like, they weren't going to work and they were like, okay, now's the time to figure out my hair. And so there's a lot more awareness about textured and curly hair. And there's tons of like YouTube videos and influencers and stuff that are talking about it. So I think that's great now that people feel a little more comfortable with their natural hair. And you kind of see the same thing with like gray hair happening as well. People are letting it grow out. And so I think it's a great first step. And now we kind of just got to get the right information out to the people who need it.
It's so good. So is there any tips that you could give someone, ladies who have curly hair and wavy hair? Just lean in and listen to this, because this woman is about to give you all the tips you need to feel great every day, because you're going to have great hair. Is there any tips that you want to share with our listeners that they could use, like products wise, that would
Mm-hmm.
help them have that great looking curly hair proudly?
Yeah. So um, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now.
It's okay. It's like what kind of gels they could use? Is there any
Yes.
special products they need, or do they just need special shampoo and conditioner to make
So
it?
there's kind of like a lot of information out there where people will say that you need certain things, you need to do things a certain way. And I think it varies for your texture. So some people have really tight curly hair, really thick, really thin. So it's going to vary for people. But one thing that's pretty universal is that textured hair, whether it's wavy or curly, needs a lot of water.
Okay.
And as you're styling your hair, you need to continue to add water in that process. So that's something that I didn't know. I used to just shampoo, condition, rinse it out, put it in a towel, when I got out of the shower. And then it was like kind of already starting to dry. And I'd put my products in at that point, and I wondered why it was so frizzy. And it's because you're supposed to put gel in when your hair is actually still wet. So like when you're in the shower still, that's the point where you would want to be applying your products, whether it's mousse, gel, cream, whatever it is. And that's how you're going to get like these clumps like this that you see here. Like this is a curl clump. This is what you want. And
Beautiful.
you can see like I've got clumps. I
Lovely
just did my hair earlier today. So
ringlets.
it's like actually pretty fresh. Yeah. So if you don't do it when it's wet, you don't get these clumps, and it dries a little bit of like that puffy, frizzy thing that a lot of people
Don't let
don't
it
like.
dry, ladies. Don't let it dry. Keep it
Yeah.
wet. The wet is the
So
best.
wetter is better. That is definitely true. So I recommend that you squeeze out the water after your conditioner and then apply your styling products. You want to like rake it in and scrunch it up. So you're going to like from the ends scrunch up like that. And that's going to encourage the curl formation to happen. And then you just let it dry. If it's dripping, you can use a towel to kind of scrunch out the extra water. You can air dry, you can use a diffuser, but be very careful because that can cause some frizz. And then when it dries, it's going to be hard and crunchy. And this is the other thing that people don't realize. I've heard so many times, I don't want those like crunchy, wet looking curls.
Yes.
Most people don't want that. And that's fine. I don't like it either. So when it dries crunchy, you would just take your hands over your hair like this and press and smooth down. And that releases that crunchy cast. And then it's soft and bouncy like this.
Beautiful. Wow. I have wavy hair, like I said, when I had them long, if I did like what you were saying, when they're wet, I used to just squish them with some gel and then
Mm-hmm.
they will get really beautiful and curly.
Yes.
And I loved it. I really loved my curly hair, but I find it easier to look after my short hair since I had a baby.
Oh, yeah. Well,
But
short
there's
hair is
this
easier.
really good tip that people can, a lot of people, like my sister-in-law, my older brother's wife, has got really curly hair, and she always complains about how frizzy it gets after showering. If she doesn't shower every day, she has to put it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, what a shame because you've got beautiful hair.
Yeah. So that's a thing that a lot of people come to me with is frizz. They want to know how to get rid of frizz. And so it's kind of like you can get rid of most of your frizz if you're styling the right way. So like I talked about on wash day, that's key. The way you style your hair is going to last that not look exactly the same, but until you wash your hair next time, um, that will be like the biggest that technique is going to have the biggest effect on frizz. And then the second thing that I think people with textured hair need to realize is that a little bit of frizz is totally normal, and there's no way, there's zero possibility of having zero frizz in your textured hair. It's just not possible. It's part of the curl pattern. So people do need to get a little bit comfortable with having some frizz, and I think we need to realize that it's okay. And one thing that I tell people a lot of times is sometimes they'll send me like pictures or they'll post in a Facebook group and they'll be complaining about their hair. And I'm like, why don't you think about the last time you were, let's say, shopping at the grocery store and you look around, and do you ever look at anybody's hair and think, oh, her hair is so frizzy or her hair is so ugly? Or you don't really think that, usually
Yeah.
you see other people's curls or whatever. You're like, oh, wow, that's so pretty. And I bet if you asked her, she'd be like, oh, this is not even a good hair day, because that's probably what happens to you. It happens to me all the time.
I
Sometimes
does,
I have
yeah.
a bad wash day and then I'll get compliments. And I'm like, really? Like, they're not noticing like all the little flaws that you notice because you're looking at your hair all day, every day, so you see all these little things, but other people don't see those things. And so I think that's a key thing that people need to realize is don't be so hard on yourself because other people are not seeing your flaws. Your hair is a lot more beautiful than you realize it.
It is that's so true. When I go for a like shopping, or when I'm in a restaurant, I always get compliment on my hair, and I always say, "Oh no, it really needs a haircut. Oh, it really
Yeah.
needs some trimming at the top." And we seem to think that everybody is looking at our hair, don't we?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that goes with like your skin and your clothes and all that, but most people are not walking around judging every other person from head to toe all day long. Like that's not how we work.
But it really, our appearance really, how we see ourselves in the mirror really makes a difference. How confident we feel, whatever we're doing, whether it's a
Definitely.
business trip or a personal trip. When you have that kind of confidence in your appearance, you seem to have more courage to talk about your business or whatever the sale call that you want to take,
Mm-hmm.
or go to a date even. If you're having a bad day, a bad hair day, you probably don't really want to go for a date.
Yeah, it's true.
So when you are coaching women to help them with their curly hair, to find the right products, I'm sure that you'll also touch a bit more into their personal beliefs and their own obstacles that they create for themselves. Do you also help them to believe that they are beautiful?
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of like I was saying earlier, where they will come to me complaining about certain things, and then I'll point out other things that look really good, or say, okay, this is something that we can work on now that you've figured out, which products you're using, what it is that you want. Let's work on some techniques that are going to get you the style that you're looking for. And I find that as women go through this process and they really learn about their hair, because it's different from straight hair. You can't just go and walk into the store and grab this product that says it's for curly hair and use it and it's going to be fine. There's so many things that you have to consider. And then every little technique makes a difference. How much product you apply, how much water was in your hair. I mean, there's all these factors. And so as they go learning, they kind of learn a little more about themselves. They learn about their hair. And it's kind of like a personal thing. Like it's self-care, basically. You're spending time on yourself. And there's definitely a transformation that happens mentally. And so looking at the progress that you've made is a big thing as well, because we also, we're looking at our hair every day. When we're going through a transformation, we don't see the small changes. But if you take a picture from the beginning and then 3 months later you look at it, you're like, oh, wow, my hair does look so much better than it used to. That makes you feel really good about yourself. And it gives you the confidence that you needed and a little push to kind of keep going if you think that maybe you're not having the progress you wanted.
Yeah.
Or your hair doesn't look that good. It kind of helps you stay in the game and just feel better about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. It's so good that you have really had the courage to really niche down and focus on women with curly hair and help them find the confidence in themselves through this process of using the right products, using the right techniques. I bet that everybody is different. They all have different thicknesses, they've got different
Mm-hmm.
colors. So how do you, I'm going to get back into a little bit more about how you work with the woman. If any of our listeners wanted to work with you now, how would they approach you? How do you work? Do you have that group calls? Do you do one-to-ones? What kind of services that you offer so they can actually
Yeah.
get a great hair?
So the first thing I would recommend is to sign up for my free 5-step guide. It's called Quick Start Guide to Mastering Your Curls. So that's just like the very basic beginning. And it's going to give you like the 5 basic steps of a wash routine and how to start embracing your curls if you're starting from scratch. So it's going to explain everything very simply. And it's an email course. You get 5 lessons. It's also a PDF ebook. So you have that to reference. And then in addition to that, I've got my blog and my YouTube. So you can, read blog posts, you can watch YouTube videos if you want free content, but you can definitely pay for upgrades. So I have something called the Curly Product Handbook, and that is my bestseller. It does really well because this is the big problem most people are having, is deciding on which products work for your hair. So
There's
this
so many
guide,
to choose from,
yes,
isn't there?
there's so many. And like I said, and you said, everyone's hair is different. So it kind of breaks down the process of identifying your specific hair type. So you got to figure out like the texture of your hair, whether it's like fine, medium, or coarse, the porosity of your hair, which is how porous your hair is, and your density. So how much hair you have, whether you have a lot of hair or little hair. All those things are going to affect what types of products you use. And then from there, it goes into explaining different products, their purposes, and then there's an actual list of products for each hair type. So it's a very comprehensive product guide. And it's something that you can digest in a day if you really wanted to sit there, but it'd probably take a couple of days to get through it. And then there's a bunch of like video tutorials that teach you, okay, once you have these products, this is how you use the product. So you can like get less frizz and more definition. And it's kind of like the starting point after you know what to do. And then if you need even more help, you're like still like, okay, I got the products, but I just don't know. I need somebody to hold me through it. Then I have a membership, which is a monthly membership. And it's basically like a full blown course on how to care for your curly hair. So it's got everything from full routines. It breaks down every step of the wash day, every styling technique, maintenance, how to sleep with your hair, what kind of treatments you need to do. And so it's basically like everything. And so that would be like, if you need a lot of help, you can go there.
Amazing. And the good thing about these today ladies, Delilah very generously is giving you that quick start guide to mastering your curl as a free gift today. So we're going to share the link of this free gift on our interview notes, so they can actually just click through and get it and just self study.
Mm-hmm.
This is so good. It's been really good to have you, Delilah. It's been really a real pleasure to have you, and thank you for all the tips. I'm sure all our curly hair and wavy hair clients and then speakers who are listening us will apply the wet hair tip.
Yes, hopefully it helps a bunch of people. That's one of the big ones that people will come back to me and be like, thank you so much. I had no idea.
Oh, you're so sweet. What I want to ask is, if there was one tip that you want to give somebody with hair, without, with not just with the hair tips, but with when it comes to confidence, what would be, as a womanly sisterhood, a little tip? What would you advise them?
Well, that's a hard one. Put me on the spot.
Think of your
Um,
best friend just going through a real bad day and she's not feeling confident, whatever she's doing, and what would you tell her?
I guess I would tell her to think of all the things that she loves about herself or things that she's really good at to kind of turn that emotion around and have her feel better, because we do have maybe, your hair is not your strongest point, but you've got other things going for you that are a little better. So um,
Focus
focusing
on
on something
love.
else a little bit, just for a little bit while you work on the other areas can help.
I love that. Yeah, focus on love. Focus on the things that you love about yourself, because we all, like you said, we're not all perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but loving
Exactly.
ourselves with the imperfections we have is what counts.
Yes, definitely.
So good to have you, Delilah. Thank you so much. And we will share all the details of Delilah on our interview notes. You can contact her, reach out to her, and get your curls nice and bouncy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care. Bye. Bye, everyone. It's been really good. Another story is about to come, and tune in. Take care.